That's really sweet. Yeah, no, I believe that the people on the left and the people on the right have painted a picture about each other based off of the extremes that get presented in the media and on social media. For example, the news never always used to report on just bad things. At the cusp of mainstream media, at the cusp of news reporting, the news reported on good and bad things. It was the beginning of the news, though. So as time went on, they followed the trends and they saw that the bad stories did the best. Most people wanted to hear the bad stories. It got the most views, it got the most ratings, and as a result, they have only perpetuated the bad narrative. They'll take the worst of the worst of the worst narratives and blast it out on repeat because they know it'll get the views. And I think it's exacerbated to now it's 2025 and we see that trend on social media. We see it on mainstream media. In every form of media that we consume, oftentimes it's the tribalistic one side versus the other side. We need to get back to a point where we can agree to disagree. I agree to that. If we, the people, were united, we could do anything. I also agree to that. I believe essentially a lot of us want the same things, but we don't know how to communicate that with one another. And I think it's being the inability to communicate it effectively is skewing what could be the desired outcome that we all share. Unfortunately, now our government has made us so against each other, though. Yeah, but how long are we going to blame it on the government and not us as people? Does that make sense? So we can blame it on the government as separating us for sure. I understand that, but at what point do we say, fuck the government and do something about it ourselves as citizens? Like, if they're not going to fix it, we have the tools. We all have phones. We know, like, we have the ability to create platforms and speak on these things. We cannot communicate effectively with MAGA. You can't communicate effectively with MAGA, but your inability to communicate effectively with them should not hinder other people's desire to, especially if they have the ability to. I wish, but MAGA alt-right is so brainwashed. Again, this comes from you have a perception that is based off of constantly being shown the extreme of the party. Just like they also, many of them believe that the left is too extreme. People are not understanding that I'm looking at a wall and I'm only looking at it and being told it's the color blue because I don't know how to put an analogy on this that would make sense, but essentially what is happening is there's been a picture that has been painted by one side of the other and vice versa. Vice versa, I don't know if there's an A to that or not. But we have to stop painting those pictures, and those pictures are painted because of extreme rhetoric that happens to get virality. I believe it's a human issue. So I think we as humans tend to see the negativity in things. And I don't know if it is totalitarian purity tests by self-proclaimed left purists. Yeah, but I think it's hard. It's hard because, like, my mission essentially is to start painting each other in the light that we actually deserve to see each other in. I don't believe everyone on the MAGA side is some alt-right Nazi, I don't know if I can say that on here, fascist, racist person. I don't believe all 77 million people who voted for Donald Trump are that way. I also don't believe all people on the left are a certain way. I believe that the extreme nature of media and social media and tribalistic, the fallacy that exists within people of needing to cling on to tribalistic behavior is what's causing us to view everything in an extreme light. I don't have a perception. My family are actively those people and they're horrible. Yeah, my mom believes that JFK is still alive. The one that got, so I get that. But that's the thing is, like, I can still talk to those people. Like, for example, my mom, I've been able, to tone her down a little bit. Be like, hey, these ideas are a little bit crazy. There are going to be people who take things way extreme on either sides of the aisle. But if that's not the majority, why are we painting it out that way? Oh, you guys don't have to send me anything. You don't have to put gifts. We can actually build bridges that run in all directions. This is about class consciousness. I love echoing the sentiments of class consciousness. I agree. I think that we as the people have a lot more control. We should have a lot more control. We actively don't because we've given it up to the government, and now we're just kind of sitting occupied by capitalism. We're just occupied by it. We're just sitting here enjoying the luxuries of society without realizing that maybe it's the look over here, government does this. Look over here, government does this. I got many messages after yesterday with people who agreed with the messages of inclusiveness. Yeah, I agree. And the way that I've talked to people, I also agree that if I'm going to approach a group who would have never listened to the other form of messaging, I'm going to give them my messaging. For example, if there's a group of men and they feel like the left has ostracized them, I'm not going to go up to them and be like, all men are bad. I've instantly shut down the door. I've automatically put them on the defense, and I don't think that that's practical. I'm all about practicality. Capitalism is an enemy, but so is racism. I don't think capitalism is I don't want to just straight up call capitalism an enemy. I think that corporations that are putting profits over people is an enemy. I think that, for example, carcinogenics in the water is an enemy. I think certain chemicals, I'm gonna sound funny when I say this, but I think certain chemicals that are being allowed to be put in either our food or our systems, I think that's an enemy because it's cheaper for the corporation and the government won't regulate it. Of course you don't, because you're an NPC. I think people who can't think for themselves think I'm an NPC because what I'm talking about might be too complex for you. I'm not sure. I have to run, but maybe we can have a calm discussion later. Oh yeah, Brad, you and I agreed on that panel. We would have to have a discussion. Like, we just have to talk, because we agree on that panel. I just think the panel itself was not, I don't know, How's your afternoon going so far? Yes, it's going good. I agree with you. Sometimes to get people on your side, you have to build the bridge. Agreed. It's easier to engage with non-political people than people who disagree with everything you stand for. Also agree. People do. It was a lot. Yes, it was a lot. Thoughts on Ray Ray? I talked to Ray Ray yesterday. I believe in bridging these gaps, and that's not a performative thing. I do that. Just because the internet tells me not to do something doesn't mean I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it if I believe that it's the right thing to do. And I don't think that the guy, like, I want to encapsulate his audience as well. And I do believe that it's weird to me that people on the left, how do I say this? It's weird to me that a certain subgroup of people desire, like, prison reform, right? They desire prison reform, they desire rehabilitation, they desire an environment in which prisoners can get rehabilitated. And then they say, don't talk to Ray Ray. And it's like, but fundamentally, those would be the same things. If you want someone to change a behavior that they don't like, you would do it in a reforming way. And that reform does not include isolation. I'm pretty sure most people on the left would be against, like, a solitary confinement, right? They'd say that's inhumane. When you confine humans into a box and you cut off communications and support systems to them, if you think that's going to breed change, that's against psychology. I don't know. MAGA is the enemy, I'm good. Yeah, if MAGA is your enemy, that's fine, but I don't think people are my enemy. And I don't want to make enemies out of people like humans. I would be the person who shows up to cookies at the war and thinks that I can stop it, and very idealistic, very, very peace-driven. I don't like, I'd probably lose my life and it'd be fine, but I don't think you can say that. Anyways, it'd be whatever. The conservatives can probably understand what you're trying to say, but MAGA won't. No, I don't believe that. I believe MAGA understands what I'm trying to say too. Because I've had a lot of MAGA influencers reach out to me and they're like, oh my God, thank God someone's fucking saying it. And I'm like, no problem. Thanks. It makes me happy that they reach out to me. Sorry, I don't see any type of kumbaya after kumbaya. Is that what you're trying to say? After everything that's happening? Yeah, and I think that's a very short-sighted train of thought. I don't think that is a long game. If we just want to demonize people, we're not playing an effective 5D chess, if you will. The convo with Mercedes just happened. I was critical. They were receptive. It takes time. Thank you, Ann Stand. And also, Ann Stand knows a lot more about my background. MAGA here. Oh my gosh, these are going so fast. Have you seen how they closed Job Corps? I'd have to look at that. Woo, okay. They're talking to MAGA content creators. That's odd. Why are they talking to MAGA content creators? That's odd. Why is it odd to talk to my fellow humans? Why is it odd to want to understand the opposition? It's almost like we on the left act like we won or something, and that it's not our due diligence to figure out why we lost and try to communicate with these people and figure out how to earn them back. That's weird, to act like we won, and we're just like, no, I'm not going to talk to you. That's kind of crazy. MAGA here, really admire all you do. Your name looks familiar. And thank you so much. It's weird to have enemies. Like, honestly, don't know how you can hate someone without knowing. I agree. I'm honestly glad you were doing this. I can't yet. I'm still angry that they voted for HATE and harm. And that's okay. We all have different capabilities, and we're all at different stages. Caitlin, are you MAGA? No, I'm not MAGA. This chick is still around after the disaster that was the tour. Well, I never went on the tour. So, Regan wants to know if I'm MAGA. No, I'm not MAGA. You're my hero. Well, thanks. I think your existence is perfection. Will you agree to not slur for all of Pride Month? Solidarity for the marginalized. I stub my toe and I say that's gay. Is that like, but I'm also, you don't like that, and you're like, oh, that's gay. Does that make sense? Hard to have two-way conversation when the other side, MAGA, isn't capable of listening. Do you think that maybe they also think that you're incapable of listening? Do you think that both people are screaming at each other with fingers in their ears and blaming the other side for not listening? Because that's what I see happening. I didn't say they weren't people. It's like not, and then C's praising you for being a decent human being. Yeah, but I don't think MAGA is just, I think we are making a false equivalency to that party in Germany and comparing MAGA to them. And I think that I don't think that that's the reality of the majority of MAGA voters. I've been sharing some videos. You have received them just to make sure. Oh, I'll check on that. Who is actively working? Oh, sorry guys, this is going fast. Who is actively working on wanting to erase us? How do you prevent that from happening? In your perception, if you believe someone is trying to erase you, what is your outcome? What is the strategy you would implement to get that to stop happening? How much do we need to compromise to bring division to an end? Well, I think before we even begin talking about compromise, I don't even think we're in the stages of talking about compromise. First, we need to talk about building rapport and connecting on a human level first, because we're way past that. The left is very pro 2A. Yeah. We'd have to convince MAGA of that, because the problem is the rhetoric. Whoa, this is going so fast. And I'm a slow reader because I'm dyslexic. Do you feel you're living an impressive or exciting life? I feel like I'm here doing what I'm supposed to be doing, the chores that God gave me, and I'm just trying to do that in peace, which is antithetical to Jesus, because going down a path that is less traveled doesn't bring you peace. But how do you come to terms with white Christian nationalists? I have to talk to them. How they are following and praising their handbook. Okay. If I didn't answer your question, just ask it again, because it's going really, really fast. Okay. She annoys me so much and I keep blocking her and she still shows up on my feed. Well, that's okay. Maybe God is trying to send you my way. We are unsafe. Okay. Can I ask what you are doing to help unbrainwash MAGA? Talking to them. How are you helping them by coddling them? So I'm going to answer that question. So 1 second. How am I helping MAGA by coddling them? Do you think... I feel like I want to take all the books on my shelf that are about communication, and I just want to like put it into something that I can just like give to you in a way. All effective communication is built off of establishing rapport. So if you think I'm going to go in there and just call them names or tell them everything that they believe is wrong, do you think that they're going to listen to me? Like, I don't even... Asking that question seems to be like... I'm asking, is the sky blue? I'm asking the same question. It's such a simple, plain answer that if you go to someone and you instantly start challenging them without establishing rapport, you almost likely will never get anything done. That's so obvious, just as the sky is blue is obvious. Timothy, hi. Authentic change doesn't come from comfort, but it does. I think it does, though. I think some people change in the wake of uncomfortability, but I think to even get someone down the path of change, it takes a more comfortable path for them to travel. Will you be talking to conservatives on your lives? Hell yes, and lots of them, and a lot of MAGA conservatives I will have up on this panel. MAGA is doing Germany 1930 salutes. Yes, but we have to talk about that in a way that's more nuanced. You can't just... For example, a lot of people have given that out on the platform. They've done that on the platform. And I think that it is a response because they are pissed and upset about something. I don't think most of these people would actually sit idly by in 1940s Germany. It's not the sky is blue. I asked, how are you actually helping them and unbrainwashing them? By building relationships with them. Germany disagrees with you. No, you disagree with me, but you're calling on something that you believe is authoritative. Is it authority fallacy? I'm learning about those things still, but I think you're calling on a place of an authority to tell me you're right and that I'm wrong, and I think that's a fallacy. You guys can ask any questions if I miss your questions. Yes, appealing to authority is what it's called. Yes, when you say Germany thinks you're wrong, that is appealing to authority. Liberals aren't, but leftists are pro-2A. There's a huge difference between liberalism and leftism. That's the thing, is conservatives don't know that, and I don't think that the left is doing a good job at communicating the difference. No, I'm using German citizens and their government's opinion. Yeah, that's called appealing to authority. Look it up. Do defend, I mean. I don't know what that means. Show me one leftist politician who is pro-2A. Is there one leftist politician that we know that is pro-2A? Like in politics, like someone that we can call on in the government that everyone knows on? That everyone knows? Because I think that's a good question. Oh, politician? No. That's a problem, though. That's what we talk about with representation. These people won't vote left if they're pro-2A if politicians in generally on the left are not pro-2A. We don't have politicians that are leftist. Yeah. What is AOC? Is AOC considered a leftist? If you don't know, you may not be the one to debate this. If I don't know what? Because the funniest thing that I see happening here is I feel like my job is to appeal to MAGA, talk to MAGA, create this bridge with MAGA. And MAGA will tell you that I'm doing right. They are sharing me on their For You pages. They're making videos stitching me, being like, hey, this is the smartest liberal we've ever seen. Or like, hey, why is the left not listening to this liberal? They're doing that because they understand my messaging. I think that I'm reaching them. I know that I'm reaching them. They're all telling me that I'm reaching them. MAGA loves Tulsi too. I don't know enough about Tulsi. Are you doing this to find the common ground or to convince others to agree to you? I think one of the biggest issues in this nation is the volatility of politics, and I want to put an end to it. LOL, yeah, and platform bigots in the process. If you have MAGA's approval, maybe you're not doing well. No, I don't believe that. I think if MAGA people are willing to listen to me because they see that I'm coming from a place of good faith, I think that's one step forward into a positive direction. Conservatives have been played. We want them back. There you go. There you go. That's a better approach. That's a better approach. It's more nice. Do you honestly consider yourself a liberal? I don't know what I can. I'm just coming in. I'm a peace, the provider of peace. I'm idealistic in my approach that I believe peace can be achieved between parties, and we can tone down division, and we can get back to a boring political space in which folk can agree to disagree on things. What makes your approach better than others? I'd say because no one is approaching it from my. I don't know a single creator who's doing this. I don't know. No one wants to do this because they want money in politics. And doing what I'm doing will never bring you money in politics. Everyone wants to call me a grifter, and I'm like, okay, to the definition of what being a grifter is, that doesn't even make sense because I have chosen the path with the least pool. Like the Republican pool, the Democrat pool, I'm on an island. I've isolated myself on an island in the middle because my morals cannot be compromised. I cannot attune to one side or the other because I believe that there's issues that are happening on both sides that aren't being talked about. And I don't know if it's the autism, but I can't not talk about it. I see it as a problem, and even if I try to shut up, I can't. And I've put myself on an island. So calling me a grifter is crazy because I know what I'm doing isolates me from the Democratic Party, it isolates me from the conservatives, and there's no money in that. MAGA are defending what's happening now. So yes, they are not. That's crazy. That's crazy. We'd have to talk about that. We'd have to have a conversation about that. That's more deep. What are you actually doing to approach MAGA? I don't watch your content often. So it's a genuine question. I talk to them a lot. So I get on phone calls with these people, and I'm going to be hosting panels with them. And trying to bridge the gap through content. Making content in which they can receive. And if they receive it well, they're more likely to follow me. And I want to hear their concerns for the country. You don't listen to both sides. You can't bring people together without listening to the issues. Well, that's not true. I definitely listen to both sides. I mean, yesterday I was on the phone pretty much the whole day with the whole entire political spectrum. Okay, we went from far right to the moderate to the liberal leftist to the leftist. So that would be... You can't judge someone's work from what you see online because if you think that paints the whole picture of what they're doing, I think you have a flawed logic. One-sided relationships never work. Someone always ends up abused. Yeah, that's why I'm going to get abused by both sides. I'm not just on one side. It's both sides that are going to abuse the fuck out of me. You don't understand that not choosing a side is inherently supports the right, don't you? I think that you believe that, but in my world, my problem right now is volatility. It is the pent-up anger and aggression that both sides have against one another. That's the issue I want to tackle. I've been here. Oh my god, these are going so fast. I've been here 5 minutes, and you have asked us to answer all the main points. How can you debate? I don't know what you're asking me. Do you believe in human rights for all? Okay, if I didn't answer your question, guys, ask them again. They're going really fast. I'm so sorry. I'm really a slow reader. I respect what you're trying to do, but things are too far gone at this point. That's pessimistic as fuck, and I am a staunch optimistic person. Sir, please, not right now. Too much is going on for real. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Just keep going, Mercedes. There's a place for what you're doing. Thank you. So are you open to the other side's concerns and actually having dialogue around that? Of course. I think I'm the only person I know who's in that mindset. Volatility pretty much has come from top down unless we just primary all the toxic politicians. Yes, I believe the government is perpetuating the volatility, but I also think that human nature inherently perpetuates it because we're tribalistic in nature. All humans matter, period. I agree. Do you believe in human rights for all? Yes, I believe in human rights for all. What makes the left better than the right? Why should they listen? What makes the left better than the right? What makes the left better than the right? Right now, I don't think we're at a position where either party is better than the other. And I think that's a people issue and a policy issue, too. I think the politicians are fucked on both sides of the aisle, and I think the people are fucked on both sides of the aisle. I think genuinely both sides are not listening to the American people. For example, when we look at politicians not listening to the American people, we're supposed to be a democracy. Our people in Congress, our people in the White House, our people in DC are supposed to be listening to what we as the majority want, but that's not happening. For example, the majority of America wants to keep TikTok, right? If the majority wants that, why does the government have the ability to tell us that screw the majority? Does that make sense? That's really weird to me. When the majority wants a certain thing and the government says, no, you can't have that thing, I think something's wrong with the system. I'd have to do more research on like why the system is built that way or what is happening that is causing the people not to be listened to. Do you only own one outfit? You sound like Trump populism. Well, I've been told I'm a populist before. I'm not sure to the extent of what that means. But anyways, about the outfit, I have like 10 pairs of the same cargo shorts and I have multiple of these shirts. Think of a cartoon character. It's very easy. I like tan, right? So if I just keep putting tan clothes on, then I'm happy. And it's not much of a decision to make. How can you equal the right and the left? That's crazy. No, I think the problems that are being... So would you agree, would the audience agree that politics, as it stands now, are more volatile than it would be like in our 20 years ago or 30 years ago? There was a point where politics started to, I think, tone down, maybe get a little bit more boring, but now we see something that we've never seen before. Yes, I'm Gen X. And that's my issue. So when you say the right and the left is both bad, I'm not talking about policy, I'm talking about culture. It's volatile because of Trump. I don't think it's just volatile because of Trump. I think that's wrong. I think Trump obviously adds to the volatility, but I don't think it's just because of Trump. We don't blame, we all take accountability. You guys are going to love this one. We all take accountability for the part we play. Yes, but it's because of something else. I'll tell you offline sometime, but I agree. Thank you. Thank you. You guys should go follow him, by the way. Very fine people on both sides. Yeah, I think there's very fine people on both sides. We've never been this divided. I agree. Do you have the problem with the phrase there are very fine people on both sides? Is that not... I don't understand... Not... See, divide us. The problem is you think that all of them are Yahtzees. What do you say to the people who are accusing you of being transphobic or using transphobic slurs? Well, I mean, I was open and honest when I came over here that I used to be in a group called Gays Against... I don't know if I can say it on without getting yeeted. GAG. I used to be in that group, and there's videos of my past, like, on my profiles. I've been open and honest about that from the beginning. And then I left them in August, and there's receipts to prove that. You can even check my second YouTube video, because I've only made two YouTube videos. There's extensive receipts on both sides. Or, there's extensive receipts that prove that I left that side. That, I've always been open and honest about. So I don't... If someone's, like, surprised by it, okay, that's fine, but... You can ask me about that anytime. Yeah, I was in a group called GAG. But are you T-phobic, though? No, I mean, my brother's trans, and I guess it, like, I don't know what you mean by that. Like, you'd have to ask if there's certain policy I agree or disagree with. What does GAG stand for? I can't say it, because I'd probably get yeeted. I've been watching you for a long time, and you've done a total 360. I don't think so, though. I don't think I've done a total 360, because the reason why I didn't get along with the conservative side is because I was doing the exact same thing. I didn't realize... This comes down to... humanistic tribalism. I did not realize, like, when I was on the conservative side, that if I went over here and I tried to do the same thing, that I'd end up in the same place. Oh, that's what a 360 is? You mean, like, a full circle? Oh, yes. Okay, yes. Yeah, I've done a 360. So I was on the right, and I said, hey, you guys are too extreme. There's some problems over on this side. Both sides are having some issues. And then I claimed the independent title. And I said, I'm an independent now. And then I was like, okay, maybe I just wasn't a Republican. Maybe my life as a long life or my life being a lifelong conservative is wrong. So I came and I'm like, oh, that must mean I'm a Democrat, right? And I came over to the Democratic side, and then the same thing happened. I was like, whoa. Mercedes, I feel like some of these influencers owe you an apology. You're going to make me cry saying that. But I came over here and I said, whoa, it's happening over here too? Oh shit, what's going on? And then I realized that I should have just stayed an independent. I didn't realize that I have an independent stance or a middle of the road. I can see both sides and I'm trying to get people together. Does that make sense? Maybe you don't understand your own political beliefs. How are you going to change others? It's not that I don't understand my political beliefs. I think the issue that you guys are attached to policy, and I'm not attached to policy. I'm attached to the culture of politics. So I believe the nature of how we are operating our political stances, communicating our political stances to one another is problematic. My issue is that the way that the left communicates things to the right is only showing the extremism, well, the right, because the right takes whatever extreme content they can find on the left and they blast it out. The left is the same thing. We are going and we are targeting the worst of the worst of the worst of the opposition and blasting that out as if it's the whole entire party. Both sides are doing that. That is my problem. Policy-wise, yes, we can always talk and adjust policy, but we can't even pass policy if we can't even respect each other. So what happens is you have an administration that comes in, they implement policy change, but because there is no ability of bipartisanship, there's no ability to work together, the next administration on the next party comes in and they dismantle what the past party has done. So Republicans will get in and dismantle what Democrats do. Democrats will get in and dismantle what Republicans do. And they continue to do that over and over and over again because they refuse to work with one another. Their refusal to work with one another keeps us from progressing. So if we create a space in which people can agree in bipartisanship, if they can come to a place of mutual respect, then good policies implemented by both sides would continue and would not just be dismantled every 4 years. Does that make sense? That is my biggest problem. What grade would you give Trump? We're 6 months in. I want to watch the whole 4 years before I give him a grade. There is no Republican Party, it's MAGA now, that's the issue. And we'd have to work with that regardless, even if it is MAGA. Even if it is MAGA, we still have to figure out a way to work with that. To win office, these people are winning, they obviously won the office, right? So we have to figure out how to communicate with them. Wait a minute, you can't give Trump a grade? It's only been 6 months? Yeah, I'm not going to grade someone if they completed 25% of the test. Well, in this case, what would 6 months out of 4 years be? I don't know, 10% of the test, 15% of the test? What grade did you give Trump the first term? I don't know anything that Trump did the first term because I wasn't involved with politics. I never voted up until this past election. What's your thoughts on all the deporting? Be fucking for real? I believe in a strong border. But I do believe in immigration reform. And I do believe the immigration process in America is so hard that it's causing people to come over in a way that isn't legal. So you have no idea what Trump did in the first term? No. If you weren't involved, like, why would you not want me to be honest? You want me to be like, yeah, I paid attention to the whole administration? No, I was an addict at the time. I was like sleeping in my car and like stealing McDonald's. Like, you know what I mean? I was not paying attention. Your lack of education isn't going to help the left. My lack of talking in a hyper-educated way is going to help me bridge the gap with the right, and that is my goal. Have you ever met Steve Bannon? Steve Bannon, he's a problem. Steve Bannon is a whole ass problem. But I've met Adam Calhoun. I've met some of the far, like, J6ers and stuff. They're kind of crazy, but your lack of truth is what's the problem? No, I think that you don't like what doesn't confirm your bias, so you say that I'm not being truthful. When in all actuality, I would argue that the majority of Americans feel this way, but they're being underrepresented. You're not, though. Your points are completely irrelevant. Which points? You do not understand how a lot of it works. You're making these generalistic statements, but you're not actually telling me what I'm doing wrong. Seem like an amazing person, Mercedes? Thanks, Brenda. I always love seeing you in here. Brenda, you're amazing. Thank you. You've given me so much support. You always show up in my lives. And Samantha, you too. And Autumn, you as well. You guys are awesome for that. As somebody who is a lot older than you. Oh, that is appealing to age. I don't know what the actual term to it is, but it is a fallacy to appeal to this idea that you know more than me because of your age. How often do you throw hands? I've done a lot of fighting in my life, actually. I've gotten kicked out of school for 2 weeks for that. You want to change people's vote without knowing policy at all. I don't want to, it's not necessarily that I want to change people's vote because of policy. I want to change the way people vote because you guys don't understand. And this is what I guess one of the biggest frustrating things is I can't say 50% of the country, but 50% of the people who voted based off of feelings, not policy. They voted based off of culture, not policy. And that's my biggest issue that I don't think people are understanding. That's a very MAGA comment. Most of the people that come here are escaping a dangerous home environment. I think you are amazing. Thank you for all you do. I love your videos. Send them to my MAGA fam. Thank you, Amanda. That's really, really sweet. You're not wrong. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all, they don't care about the illegal deportation that's happening. When did I say that? Can you point? I would like you to send me a recording of me saying those exact words. Or is that you just talking out of your butt because of your feelings? You know what I mean? Like, you just say stuff because you feel that way. When I asked you and you dodged it, yes, but that's not what you said. You said that I don't care. Why would you say that if I didn't say that? Who voted based off of feelings? Dems or Trumpers? I'd argue there are people on both sides of the aisle who voted based off of feelings, or people who on both sides of the aisle voted based off of the way they were raised, people who voted on both sides of the aisle for their party because of environmental factors, and then a select few who voted based off of policy. And why I say that is because the nation is undereducated. If you really believe, the majority of Americans you go to and ask them what are the 3 branches of government, they'd look at you like this. Go do your own polling. I don't know. You can't teach without education. That is demonstrably false. I think that's demonstrably false. Education in what? Academia? Because if I'm to teach culture, or if I'm to teach a way of moving throughout the world, maybe psychology, or like how to move in a way that is psychologically consistent with what you want to achieve, I do believe I'm 100% educated in that. This is the first year I divided into politics, looking up unbiased. Good job, Brenda. Good job. This is what manipulation and deflection looks like, y'all. She won't answer any questions straight on. I think you ask questions, and I'm in the middle of answering another question, and then I miss the question, and then you get upset about it. I also think you're acting in bad faith because you've had nothing positive to say, even though I've had plenty of positive things to say to you. You're going to teach incorrect shit without realizing it? No, I don't think so. I just don't play into tribalism. The screen scrolls fast. Thank you. What is most important? Defeating MAGA or fighting to eradicate the issues that led to MAGA's rise? Fighting to eradicate the issues that led to the extremist nature of both sides. For example, do you think that it's extreme? I watched a video. Do you live in the Springs? I do not live in the Springs. I used to, so that's weird. If you watched a video, I did watch a video. So there was this video that happened, and it was a pro-lifer. You guys might have seen it. It was a pro-lifer, and she was trying to interview a pro-choicer. And the pro-choicer, there were a couple questions in, and the pro-choicer just absolutely decks the pro-lifer. They deck the pro-lifer. Seems like the leftists aren't being so nice to you. They are toxic as fuck. I followed you for that because I be feeling that hard. That they're not very nice to me. But I saw a pro-lifer get just absolutely decked by a pro-choicer, right? And then I go into the comment sections, and everyone on the left side of the aisle are laughing about it, making videos laughing about it. They think it's funny. They think it's, she deserves that. In my mind, that is volatility. There is nothing okay with putting your hands on someone who did not put their hands on you. You only put your hands on someone in self-defense or defense of someone else. And the left thought that it was okay. And I think those are things we have to denounce. The right also does things that are physically violent, and as a result, I think they should be denounced. Trump told his fans to beat up protesters, yet you have no opinion on him. That's wrong, actually. Hey, I would actually like to engage with that. Yet you have no opinion on him. You think after 8 months of making content on this side, criticizing the Trump administration over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, like 3+ videos a day, that I have no opinion on Trump? Do you see how you say things that are so stupid? And I mean that with all due respect, but it's like you're talking out of a place of feelings, and logicality is like left the room. Why say that if you could prove evidence, because you can't give him a grade? Is a grade the same thing as an opinion? No, because I can't give him a letter grade instead of a nuanced point of view of how I think he's doing. You think that I love the Trump, like, that's crazy. And this is what I talk about, black and white thinking. I think many of you guys have glasses on that are either black or white, and you don't see nuance at all, which is surprising to me because I thought the left would be better at seeing nuance, and I've learned that might be an issue. Mercedes, we need to get on a live together and do a discussion for peeps. I think we could cover. Yes, I agree. I'm following you back. What about them marching with the YT supremacy in neighborhoods? I think the right needs to do a much better job at denouncing the extremists that rise up in their party, and I think that they don't denounce it, and that's part of the problem. But in order to get them to denounce it, I have to earn their trust for them to understand why they need to denounce it. Because many of them let it slide out of fear of being criticized by their own party. Because you personally shocked the folks who trusted you. I don't know why you trust some random person on the internet. I am not responsible for how you feel. Thank you so much. You don't have to do that, though. I'm not responsible for how you feel. I'm a person random on the internet. If you feel like I hurt you, I'd argue that you need to get a little bit tougher. Oh, thanks for that. Thanks for that, by the way. But you don't have to do any of that. MAGA loves arguing in circles to feel superior. This is how it looks in real life. Why? I wish I could put myself in your shoes for 1 second to understand what it feels like to be in a black and white. Like, to see in black and white. I don't even know what that looks like because everything is so nuanced to me. I feel like I would physically be in pain if I had to go through that. I don't like MAGA, but I don't believe in attacking them to try to get them to understand. I agree to that. I wish I actually am from the left side and I would love to talk to you. Oh, let me follow you back. I'd love to talk to you. Name one right-winger who has denounced Musk's Salulu. Just one famous and prominent one. Did I not say earlier that the right has a problem denouncing the extremism from their party? Because I think I said that. That's part of the problem. That's the issue there. That's the issue. The left is crashing out hard. Yeah. 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 I think MAG is also crashing out hard, though. I think the country is crashing out hard. See how you didn't answer the question? Ask it again. I'm very sorry. Everyone ask her opinions on Trump till she answers. Well, I think Trump overall is a person who's narcissistic. I think that the guy cares too much about himself. He's very divisive. He does not want unity. He is anti everything that I preach. I feel like there's a lot of things that you need to be denounced on both sides. Yes, both sides need to denounce some stuff. I'll forever crash out hard for human rights all day, night, and forever. I think we're talking about the wrong type of crashing out. You can agree that something needs to happen, or you can believe in human rights for all, but how you communicate those, if it's in a way that's not breeding solutions, then you're part of the problem. I hate the generalization of the left and MAGA. Yeah, I can agree. Bottom line, extremism on either side goes unchecked for fear of not looking unified. Exactly. That was really good. Crashing out is not going to get anything done. I agree. I do not know how you do this. I could never. You're going to do great. Thank you for the knowledge. Thank you so much. I do it like this. I've read the Bible front to back, multiple different translations, and there is a specific character in there that continues to get dragged, and their opinion is very, 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 very small. It's like a little seed, and no one wants to listen to it. And then eventually people start to listen to it, right? I feel like some good opinions might come. There's a meme where it's like you're pointing at one person, or one person is pointing at a huge audience, and I feel like that's the position I'm at right now. That says, everyone says I'm wrong, and I say, no, everyone else is wrong. But of course I'm going to think everyone else is wrong because they're not doing anything good. Like, you can clearly see the negativity of the volatility on both sides. You can see how that is, like, real world, how that is negative. And they're too comfortable within their own tribalistic groups. They don't want to leave it. I think that's a human flaw. And as a result, I think that I'm right, for sure. I think it's right to say that both sides are acting in a way that anyone with a brain could say that that's wrong. Would you argue with Dean? Yeah. And I think argue is the right word. I don't think it would be a debate. I think we definitely argue. Taking opposing ideas today? Are you... Wait. When you say opposing, I have to ask who. Because apparently both sides oppose me. So I don't know which opposition you'd be coming from. Hey guys, look. That's for when I leave or when I host lives that I don't want to be a part of, or if I have to do something else in a live. There's me. But I don't disagree. Thank you. Yeah, the division on both sides is an issue to me, and if you don't think division is a problem in this nation, then I think you have to open your eyes. Do you want to start bringing up people so we can talk? Yeah, I think so. But it depends. You have to tell me what your beliefs are. Or you have to at least tell me what side you are on. I'm a conservative, and I truly appreciate your live and your folks in the comments. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being over here. Thank you. Is it true that you didn't vote? See, that is my problem right now with the left, is that. And the right does it too, but that. You went and believed some random person who don't like me, who just hates what I'm doing because they want the division, they like live off of it, and they said that I didn't vote. And that came out of absolute butt-fuck Egypt. Who the fuck? I wasn't lying when I said I voted, and I had to go to the civil tax assessor's office to get this paperwork that proves that, yes, I voted. And the left put me in this shitty position where they tried spreading lies about me saying that I didn't vote when I voted, and I had to go get records of that. And that's because the left, I don't know, there's a problem going on, and it's not the left. It's a certain subset of people on TikTok that is very niche down, that cannot agree to disagree at all. And if you say something that they don't like, they'll end up doxing you and claiming that you didn't vote. Forget whoever said that. It's not their job to monitor. Thank you so much. I'm a leftist, and that's insane. Thank you, because it's not all leftist. It's just both sides dox. I've been a conservative influencer, and I've been a Democrat influencer, and the Republicans never did this to me. I will say that. Like, even when I left, even when I denounced them on a live in front of, like, a bunch of people, even when, I don't know. They never did that to me, for sure. So I will say that they definitely do it on this app. I don't think they do it near as much as left-wing influencers do it. I think left-wing influencers have an entire ecosystem of discords that they weaponize, and I also think that their content, it moves better throughout the algorithm. So they do it to others all the time. Your experience isn't for everyone. Again, you're all or nothing. No, it's just from what I see. So, for example, I watch the algorithms specifically. I watch the content coming out of both sides. And yeah, no, the worst of it is libs of TikTok. Libs of TikTok, they call for people to get DOXXED. They're a problem specifically. If people just learned to love one another more, this world would be such a better place. I agree to that 100%. America has become a mega city, judges dread, and become the very real. Are you a registered Democrat? I learned that apparently in Texas, you don't necessarily get registered on a side. That's what someone told me. I don't know how much that is true. I do know that when I did register to vote in 2022, I did it in a conservative, like it was a conservative building. It was the Bastrop County Republicans that I registered at their office. I've seen that, and that's crazy. Even hate Dean and Parker. Yeah. Isn't Libs of TikTok a right-wing creator? Yes, I'm saying Libs of TikTok call for people to get doxxed. They are making bipartisan illegal. Yeah, I agree. You have to expect that if you go from one camp to the other, you're going to be suspect. But that's the thing, is people assume that. And you assume that, not understanding that on that side of the aisle, part of the reason why I left was because they kept calling me a liberal plant, because I kept calling out their lies. And they would do things like bully these random 14-year-olds who have like little ears on. They would find their videos on TikTok and they would bully them. And like Libs of TikTok went really far down doing this. A lot of creators would piggyback off of that. And I said, no, we don't bully people, let alone children. We do not bully children. And I tell that to them, and they'd say, bring back bullying, make bullying great again. That really frustrated me. That really upset me. And they would say, oh, Mercedes, you're a liberal plant. And I recognized, I was like, maybe I'm moderate. And then I was like, no, maybe I'm a Democrat, because you want as a human to pick a side. You do. That we're naturally tribalistic. I wanted to find a family. And in the Democratic Party, I thought I was a Democrat. And then I realized, wait, no, the Democrats are doing some wild stuff too. And I've realized we have an issue on both sides. Bastrop County is hilarious. I miss Central Texas. I love Bastrop. Bully embrace depression and makes people feel isolated. Yeah, I think embracing bullying is crazy. Well, they're fascists. You sound like a moderate, and that's good. Yeah, I get that a lot. I get that I sound like an independent. I used to live in Temple, Texas. Nice. Temple is nice. Well, it comes down to which side has the biggest issue, and it's not close. I don't think it comes down to that, though. Everyone wants to see the now issue. I'm looking long term. If we keep going the way we're going with how volatile everything is, something's got to give. This bubble of toxicity is growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. Someone has to pop it or start to begin to deflate it, because it's a huge issue. And in my mind, instead of being like, oh, Republicans are horrible right now and we have to get them out in 4 years. Yeah, we get them out in 4 years, and then we have Democrats, and then we have another toxic round of Republicans. Maybe the Democrats are pulling their toxic shit. Who knows? The point is to tone down the toxicity. Meaning, if we get a Republican in office who passes legislation that may be beneficial, that a Democrat can recognize those benefits and keep that, and then stack things that, like rights in this nation. We're stacking benefits, we're stacking rights, we're stacking legislation that is pro-worker class, legislation that is pro-people. And then Democrats, Republicans, whether they're flip-flopping office or not, that they're not continuously backtracking. The problem is we see a pendulum shift, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That does not equal progress. When you're taking 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, we're not moving at all. You want progress so bad. That's not causing progress. When we have bipartisanship, maybe it will, instead of going like this, we can go like this. Does that make sense? Nope, independent here. No Republicans can be trusted at all right now. That's crazy generalization. That is a crazy generalization. No Republicans can be trusted right now. That's a crazy generalization. Does the right want progress? I think the right would be better at preserving progress if they agreed with progress. Right now, Trump repeals anything that is good, but he has repealed things that would be good simply because it's a FU to the previous administration and nothing else. It's a complete disregard for the people in order to say, fuck you, Joe Biden. That's it. Republicans are regressive, not progressive. I think Republicans are conservative. People think that no R could be trusted because Republicans literally voted to take away others' rights. But you think that because you think that you're putting intentions on these people. So you believe that all 77 people purposely voted because they wanted the rest of the country, or they wanted to take away rights. And that's not how they're thinking. So when a Republican goes up and votes, they think they are preserving rights, or they are thinking they are preventing rights from being taken away. They also think they're doing the same thing. A different set of rights for a different set of people. They believe that they're doing that, and we have to talk about why that is not necessarily true. You know what I mean? Or like how we could communicate preserving rights in a better way. Sorry, I gotta move this puzzle piece really quick. Oh, I gotta move another puzzle piece. Ooh. Okay. You're hitting it right on the nose. People need to look outside the box. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Trump has something against trans people when we only make up 1%. Yeah, the whole Republican Party right now is spending millions and millions and millions of dollars on pretending that they're fighting a culture war. Hardcore. Wait, Pixie, you gotta ask whatever question it is again. The comments go very fast. MAGA just marketed this all better. They painted a false picture of disparity and people bought it. Also, a lot of people aren't voting on policy. They're voting off of how their party feels. So that is a very common thing, especially which you could agree. I mean, the stats show that the majority of people who voted for Donald Trump are considered not college educated. Now, I don't believe college education is the equivalency of intelligence. I don't believe that. But I do believe that when we look at the stats, many people who voted for Donald Trump aren't college educated. And many of them aren't looking and reading deep into policy. It's the same reason as to why Trump's policy page looked much different than Kamala Harris's extensive policy page. Because these people, a lot of them would take $7.25 minimum wage if it meant not giving into what they call woke culture. Because at that point, the cultural experience that they're moving throughout the world and essentially experiencing is more detrimental to them than policy. They don't believe that the policy is affecting them as much as what is what things they believe are being normalized that shouldn't be. What was your role in gag? Well, I was in it for 6 months, and I went to one town hall meeting. Mind you, I was supposed to go to a bunch. I went to one town hall meeting, and I kind of got a little bit in trouble because I went to go talk to the leftists because I wanted to hear them out in their opinions. And I got grabbed by the arm, and they're like, Mercedes, we don't do that. And I said, oh. And then I never went to a town hall meeting again. And I was also supposed to recruit, and then I didn't recruit at all. And I was also supposed to show up to school board meetings and stuff, and I didn't do that. Because I was in there for 1 month before I was like, oh God, I joined the wrong thing. And it's because I believe they're divisive. The reason why I left is I think that whatever mission that they are trying to present, they're doing it in a way that's extremely divisive, and it's not going to work if you go about it that way. I didn't like their messaging. My problem with most people is the messaging. Why did you initially think it would be a good group? Because it was sold to me as a bipartisan group. And also I was a gay person for Donald Trump at the time. So again, that's about finding your tribe. So in my mind, fruity person for Trump going to associate with a group of fruity people for Trump. So you joined and disagreed with their public statements? For the most part. Not all of their statements that I disagree with. But for the most part, like for example, the bullying of children, like when you go and you find these TikTok videos of these kids and then you bully them on the internet, yeah, I was very against that. They have a fixation on bullying people. What did you recruit for? Well, I was supposed to recruit, but I didn't. I got in trouble for not fulfilling my role. After I went to my first town hall meeting, they're like, wow, Mercedes, you're awesome. We're going to make you the chapter leader. And I said, sure. And they made me the chapter leader, and I did not fulfill that role at all. I didn't do anything. I just kind of was like, okay. And then I stopped creating content for them after a couple months. I think it was like around 4 months. I stopped creating 4 or 5 months. I stopped creating content for them because I think that they were too partisan. And for example, they agreed with things that MTG said, and I think MTG is crazy. They agreed with some of the worst in the Conservative Party, and I was like, I don't know about this. So what's your opinion on trans people? You really have to ask a better question than that. I'm trying to understand. It seems like you hate piled onto more hate, but you let them use your content. You like hate piled onto more hate, but you let them use your content. No, I made content for them. I didn't let them use my content. I made content for them. Oh, we see your colors now? No, I'm asking you to ask a better question. When you say, what is my opinion on trans people? What opinion are you talking about? Like, what are you asking? Do I think that they should be allowed to transition? Like, what are you asking? You're emotional. You're a very emotional person. Oh, we see your true colors now in all caps. That's a very emotional response. You're not actually having a logical conversation. That's a question, though. Would you defend trans rights? Yes, but people need to be more specific instead of lashing out. Yeah, I agree. What's my overall opinion on the existence of trans people would be a net positive. Does that make sense? Like, I'm emotional. Aw, you got me crying. You're the one putting crying emojis. My color is purple. What does that mean? A net positive? Yeah, what's wrong with it? They're a net positive to society. Is that... Like, do I believe trans people exist? Yeah. Your true color is purple? Is that bad? What does net positive mean? You might have to look it up. Trans people are a net positive to society. I don't understand how that's controversial to say. Do you want me to say that they're a net negative? Would you be happy? Like, I'm confused. Do I think trans people should be allowed in the military? Yes. Yeah, I do. I think conservatives forget to understand that the military spends how much money on Viagra? How much money on female, like, birth control, things like that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, when we talk about the military spends a lot of money on affirming care for straight people. So I don't understand why it would be an issue otherwise. Does that make sense? Do you believe trans people should be allowed to transition free from government intervention? Yeah. Yeah, like, anyone above the age of 18 in America should be able to do whatever the fuck they want, like, as long as it's not hurting someone. For example, like, someone above the age of 18 is allowed to go to war. Why would I prevent them? Does that make sense? From doing anything else. Do I believe trans people should be allowed to use the bathroom of their presenting gender? Yes, I do believe that. And because I think the opposite causes issues. For example, Republicans would not want Buck Angel in the women's restroom. They wouldn't. Just like Republicans wouldn't want Blair White in the men's restroom. Someone said, okay with these answers. Thanks, Mookie. Thanks. W's for Mookie. You guys should follow her as well. Buck Angel passes. Do you think you can only use a bathroom if you pass? I definitely think that conservatives take that stance. They do. Like, I personally, just as someone who has been in queer spaces and used the restroom, in public spaces, I piss in the parking lot, man. Like, I've never had an issue with anyone in the bathroom ever in my life. And I've gone to men's bathrooms and females' bathrooms and non-gendered bathrooms. I've pissed alongside all genders, and I've never had an issue. I use the men's restroom all the time. Yeah, I do too, because when you're at the club, the females are like 20 of them out the door, and the males are like no one's in line. So I just go into the male restroom and I'm like, perfect, this is fine. It's like a cheat code. I don't know. Someone said figures. What figures? I think you're being sensitive. Yeah, they created a problem that doesn't, that their problem, the thing is we have to talk about them too about this problem. In Fort Lauderdale, they have one restroom with stalls and a shared sink common area. I don't pass for the men's restroom yet, but when I finally do, I will be going in there. Oh, I'm excited for you to, when you do get to go in there, I just be going in. And they know whenever, I've never been questioned for going in a male's restroom. I just walk in and I go and I leave. And they say, and I mean, like in southern spaces, they're just like, whatever, Mercedes, I guess. But I get along really well with country folk and like rural communities, and I don't know. They just don't give a fuck. And that's my experience. I'm not saying that's everyone else's experience. I just went to a unisex restroom. It's in a southern restaurant. Nobody cares. That was all propaganda. Yeah, in the real world, most people don't care. Except for that one trans guy who just got arrested for going to the female's restroom, which is, or like handcuffed. I don't know if he was full, I don't know. But that was ridiculous. Because they passed legislation in the area that told him he has to use the female restroom. And then he used the female restroom, and then they handcuffed him. What the fuck is that? I do pass male most of the time, but I'm just not quite comfortable yet. Oh yeah, take your time. I've just always viewed myself like this. Like, I've always gotten along with men really well. I've always been in hyper masculine spaces. I've always took it on hyper masculine roles, just even when I was young. So I don't. It's like. Not, I don't even think about it. I just go into these spaces and they're like, yo, what's up? I sometimes go in men's restrooms just because I'm not looking for the signs and I just need to go. Yeah. Yeah, and if the ladies are taking up the female restroom, I mean, like, sometimes they're going in there and they're, like, snapping pictures and they're doing their makeup and stuff and they're, like, really taking their time. And I'm like, well, I am gonna go piss real quick in this male restroom. I don't know. I feel different when it's kids' restrooms at school, though. I can understand that, and I can understand that. Yeah, that would be we'd have to have a. I love that. Kids don't care either. I'd agree that kids don't care. I think that Republicans have a very strong fear around children, and for example, I think what they're talking about is like adults going in kids' restrooms. That's what, are you talking about adults going in kids' restrooms, or which scenario are you talking about? Because I understand a parent being upset of any adult going into a kid's restroom only because the statistics of the bad statistics that are out there, which it's majority a straight problem, if we're being honest here. Pastors, clergy member, people in position of power over children that hurt them. That is a huge issue. And that's not a left wing, that's a humanity issue. What do you mean a kid's restroom? I think they're talking about like at school and stuff. W to that answer. Oh, thanks. Thanks. That was sweet. A study was done in essay cases against children. 10. Yeah, no, I know. The GOP has a problem touching I know. That was one of my biggest problems with them. That's one of the reasons I got into this big fight with GAG, was because I told them, I said, what are you guys doing? You guys have these resources. You guys have these huge Instagram places or Instagram spaces and social media spaces to fight the PDF, but you're targeted specifically only if the PDF person identifies in any of the LGBT numbers, right? Like, or letters. That is what you care about. But when you look at the stats, this over here, this huge pool is like GOP members, pastor members, teachers, police officers, a shit ton of just everyday fucking straight people who are actually committing this, fathers, some mothers sometimes doing this. And this is the LGBTQ community doing it. And they only wanted to focus on that. And none of them wanted to touch up on the issues within the GOP doing it. Or, I mean, they all literally said, yeah, we love Matt Gaetz. They all loved Matt Gaetz. And they wouldn't criticize Matt Gaetz. And I'm like, I'm going to lose my shit here. I was very upset by that. And I also called them, I called them PDF sympathizers on the Twitter space when I went off on them in defense of Imani the boxer. You guys are nice. You guys are being very nice. Too nice. I don't know what to do. Out of 10,855 cases. Yeah. Yep. And you said 90% were GOP? I think that was the statistic. 68. 70? 70%? If someone told me 96, I'd believe it. I'd believe it. They have a big problem. And I think what exacerbates the perception that me believing that it would be 96% is their inability to admit to the issue. None of them want to talk about the issue. And it's very frustrating to me. None of them want to talk about that issue. We can talk about culture wars all day long. They can talk about culture wars all day long. But they have to be willing to admit that, the party as a problem obviously has an issue. In just like in the religious spaces, in the GOP political spaces, there's an issue with what is happening to kids. You remember MTG was going to spill the beans on who was in the GOP? Yeah, I do, and the little wench didn't, did she? Coward. Because that would mean them owning up to it. Yes, and that's why I want to bring in a place where they can own up to it and feel free to do so. So, for example, here, this all circulates back to the same exact talking point or a mission statement. The right, because of volatility and the inability to express a different opinion than your tribe without getting ostracized by them, causes people putting these blindfolds on. People refuse to call out the shit of their own party because they're scared of their tribe, which is human nature. Most people will compromise their own morals in the sake of community. That's just, we've seen that throughout humanity. That is a fact of being a human. Most people do that. How do we get them not to do that? We need to create a space in which they find community that also does that. For example, if conservatives had a space, and then the left had a space in which we could talk about, hey, this is a problem, hey, this is a problem, and they have community in calling out the issue. Get what I'm saying? Idiocracy was never meant to be a documentary. Never was meant to be documentary? Yes, I agree. But we have the space on the left. I don't believe we have the space on the left to do that. I don't. I don't because I've experienced... Right now, we do not have a space for public influencers who are continuing a public belief to be able to do that without getting in a situation that causes people to come after them. I don't believe that. Now, maybe in closed doors, a little bit. We have a little bit of it. But I don't believe that there has been any party that has provided a significant space for people to call out their own party without getting roped into isolation. For example, if you stand against Trump in the Conservative Party, you're considered a rhino. If you're in the Democrat Party or the left sphere and you say something that offends someone else, all of a sudden your friendships no longer exist. You get isolated, or you get strung out on the internet. And people will start saying you didn't vote. Threats of being primates. Yes. Obama did attempt that. I'm upset because I never got to experience Obama. Because people think you have to confirm their beliefs and there is no room for anything else. Yeah, and they take the lack of confirmation of, if you don't confirm someone else's belief, they take it as an offense. Instead of understanding, hey, this person has experienced a million different situations or a million different experiences in whatever how many years they are in life. So this person, maybe they're 20 years old, they've experienced millions of different experiences up until that point that shape who they are and how they believe. If they do not believe exactly what you believe, you need to not look at them as a person and say, oh, you don't believe what I believe in. You need to look at them as someone who, because of previous experiences, believe what they believe. We have to understand that to get to the bottom of why they believe what they believe. No one wants to do that. Instead, the easier thing to do is, you don't agree with me, I don't want to talk to you now. And I think that, or you don't agree with me, I've taken offense to that, and now I want to hurt you because I feel like you've hurt me because you refuse to agree with me. And that is trash. Obama will forever be my president. Me too. If I could do it, I would do an Obama third term kind of thing. Spitting it as always. Tabor! Sorry, we ended up having a meeting last night. You and I have to get on a live. I have a lot of conservatives lined up, and I'd like to have you on as well. People who voted for Trump, I have them lined up, and you're on the list. I want to talk to all of you guys. I have you up on a panel, talk to you, and cycle through, and I need to create a good schedule for this too, because I think it needs to happen. The problem is that people, as soon as there's a disagreement, feel disrespected on both sides. Exactly, and I don't get that. You could disagree with me and I'll still take you out for ice cream. I miss Obama so much. Wasn't perfect, but was a great president. Absolutely not. This is unconstitutional. Obama will not have a third term, nor will Trump. Sorry, I can't clap too loud because I don't want to hurt your ears. That was good. That was good. That was good. Oh shit, Mercedes gonna get canceled again. Yeah, because I want to talk to the conservatives. They'll forever maybe try to cancel me for that. So are you going to try to convince these Trump voters to cross the aisle? Hold on one second. Mookie said something. Well, I think when we did... Oh, no, where'd it go? Well, I think when we disagree about human rights, it's a little trickier. Yeah, and I think that my object is to get them to understand... The problem is they don't believe that they're violating human rights. That's the issue, is they do not believe that what they are doing is in violation of any human rights. I think there's also a difference on what they believe human rights are versus what the left believe human rights are. And there's not enough conversation about establishing what that is and what needs to be protected or what kind of rights need to come about, because there's not even a conversation on, so you don't believe this is human rights versus you believe this is human rights. You believe this is too far. You believe this isn't far enough. I don't think that conversation is being had with respect. So they just automatically take to the opposite stance. They don't care. They just want to hate. I don't believe all of them just want to hate. And I don't believe all of them are voting in order to take people's rights away. Like, I don't think that's their mindset going behind it, is I want to take someone's rights away. They talk to Trump supporters on the daily. What's the problem with what you do? When you do it? Thank you, Net. Thank you. They talk to Trump supporters daily. What's the problem when you do it? The problem when I do it is because I'm not doing it in a performative way in which my goal is to just debate them and gotcha them. My goal is to actually play 5D chess, actually play the long game, and talk to them and come up with these compromises through conversation and through love, not through being like, ha, gotcha. That might bring people in the audience who use debate, because some people listen to debate content. I'm one of those people, and due to debate content, I was able to help formulate my opinions over on this side. That being said, most people are not going to change their mind. I can't say most. There is a subset of people who won't change their mind due to debate content, and there's a subset who will. And the people who change their mind due to online debate content, great, but that's not everyone. So I'm taking a path. There's enough debaters in the space. There's no reason for me to just be another debater. especially when I have the patience to lead with love. For example, some people on the left might pull a conservative up on the panel. The conservative might say something that is very triggering to them, and the patience flies out the window and the name Star. That never will happen to me because you can't trigger me. You could say anything to me and I'd look at you like this. That's okay. Let's go get some ice cream. Let's get ice cream. I don't care. I'll fix them, you know? I'd say it's fair to say 60-40 split of willing to change their mind versus those that wouldn't. Yeah. And I'm optimistic as fuck. I'm the person who, if in my perfect world, we'd have a uniparty. A uniparty of people who all care about each other. That's highly idealistic and not practical, and I understand that. I think that's antithetical to just like basic human biology, to be honest, and how people operate. But you know, one can dream. I love unity so much. I think that's why people call me a populist. All you can do is educate. It's up to them to change. I don't believe that, though, because I believe proper education can come through building relationships. And I don't think for example, if I throw a book at you and I tell you to read it, you're probably not going to read it. Now, if I take you to a coffee shop, we're hanging out, we're going on a couple outings together, we're getting a friendship, and I'm like, hey, I read this book and I really think you should read it. They're more likely to read it. Education sometimes can only be digested after relationships are established. Who do you look up to in this space? Y'all are going to hate this answer, but Ezra Klein and Destiny. I look up to Destiny and I look up to Ezra Klein. I look up to Destiny because the guy has put himself on an island, and regardless of how much people have backlashed against him, he continues to fight for the Democratic Party. I think the guy has obviously done some things where I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? But I do admire this commitment to the party, commitment to progress, regardless of whether he put himself in certain situations that got him the heat or he's gotten heat unnecessarily. That's case by case, but Ezra Klein is really cool. Ezra Klein is really, really cool. You can't expect to be able to reason with people who got to their belief without reason. Can't expect. Can you reword that? You can't. Who got to their belief without reason? I think everyone comes to their own beliefs because of certain reasons. I think everyone believes the way they do because of something, whatever that reason might be. What has been your greatest read? The Bible. The best book I've ever read in my entire life is the Bible. NIV, NLT, King James Version, New King James Version, Christian Standard. Yes. Exactly. You can educate and do all things. I think it works out with them. Low effort. You have condoned people's use of slurs, but those slurs are rooted in violence. I hope you could see that. Well, I think that I don't think they're using them specifically to be violent. And that's where Becca put this face. And I think it's because I said the Bible. Is it because I said the Bible? You got to read Jesus' story. You know what I mean? Like, I believe in Jesus. I believe that Jesus is the perfect representation of what I want to be. Oh my God, or Jesus, help us all, the Holy Spirit, fix it. The Bible is the best read. Yes, the Bible has been the best read for me. Because I think, yeah, I don't know. It's been the best read. I'm sorry, but did you just say Jesus is what you want to be? No, I said I want to be like Jesus. Like I want to emulate the lifestyle of Jesus because I believe that Jesus embodies the personality traits that I hope to like be able to also move about the world with those traits. Godlike. No, I don't want to be godlike. It's not because you want to be like God. It's because you admire the path Jesus took. Liberal, hippie, Jesus is based. Thank you. I mean, I think Jesus is just like, I like Jesus. I really like Jesus. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I think Jesus was incredible. Good night, Mercedes. Good night. Powerful. Stay safe. Thank you. Thank you. You stay safe too. I admire the teachings of Christ. Be Christ-like, not God-like. No one, always be Christ-like. Have you ever read a course in miracles? What do you mean by that? A course in miracles? Are you being paid to be on TikTok and debate liberals? No. No one on the left is paying me. The left does not pay in the same way the RNC does. The right, we be flying their people out to the damn Mar-a-Lago. Over on the left, I think there's very few creators. It's a known problem over here. They might have a subset of creators that they might pay, but like that's not the majority. Versus on the MAGA side, I see like some of the smallest MAGA creators being flown out to the White House, and it's like, I think the right takes much better care of their creators, and I think that the creators on the right have a better community. For example, when I was on the right, I had a lot of community and I had a lot of friends. The minute I came to the left, last night was the first time that I made friends. I think like really made friends on the left. That was the first time in all the months I've been here. Man, I bet Melania just loves that. Pax pay, though. I mean, I'm paid by a left PAC, no shame. Pax pay. Yeah, and I don't know much about that. You gained another friend? Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. That's sweet. Thanks, Brenda. Oh, it's 3:44. It takes a bit because we are shell-shocked from all the bad stuff. Yeah. I don't know. The right, I think it's a southern thing, and I think it's a rural thing. We're just, like, there's city folk. For example, I moved to the city, and, like, people in bars and stuff, you'll be in a packed bar, even some of the gay bars, and everyone is just, like, in their groups, and they just talk in their groups, and they just be in their groups, and it's just, like, their group. In, like, a lot of the rural spaces, you go to a bar and you best be prepared to socialize because everyone's going to want to talk to you for no reason. You just talk to each other. It's like, hi, you're here in the space, taking up space like me, fellow human. And it's everyone is family. The right does consider everyone family, yes. And I'm like that. I believe everyone is my family. So those are ideologies that the right have that I admire and I really, really want to bring over here because this idea of a connected family that can agree to disagree and still love one another, they love it. They'll protect one another to the ends of the earth. I've experienced the opposite, just saying. I've experienced the opposite, and that's everyone has their own experiences, and I think it's valid. But Southern hospitality is crazy. Being from the Northeast and going to college in the South, it shocked. Yeah, and all I've ever known is Southern hospitality. So when I experienced the cold behavior of city folk, I'm in the country and you better be prepared all the time because you're going to be doing this. And when you're in the country, just living in the country, now I live in Austin. But when I was in the country, hi, every single car that passes by, there'll only be a couple, but right? You wave and stuff. You're amazing. Stay amazing and never let anyone tell you different. That was really, really fucking sweet. I followed you for that. New Yorkers will fight you over eye contact. Hey, that's crazy to me because, like, for me, I'm the person, if you have less than me, you're going to go in front of me in the line. If you're older than me and have a whole basket and I have 2 items, you're still going in front of me in the grocery store. I have an extreme amount of situational awareness when it comes to catering to the fellow humans around me. And that's just how I was raised. You love how chill I am? Stop it. I'm giving you a follow for that. That was sweet. That was really, really fucking sweet. That was really sweet. The city type are mean to your face, but kind-hearted. I have an aversion to city folk. I'm not going to lie. I'm scared of city folk because I've just always been burned by them. And I'll help them. Like, I'll help them extensively, and I'll use all the resources I have to help city folk. And then they'll be like, you said this and I don't like you now. And I'm like, what? You'll help anyone, I've learned. Thank you. Yeah, oh yeah. Anyone who needs it. Do you have a Discord we can join? Uh-huh. It's linked in my bio, but people in there might say some spicy things. So if you're triggered by people saying spicy things, we're working on it. The culture is different in the city versus the country. That's normal because the differences in it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, for sure. I lean left and I wave to cars as we pass. I want to help anyone too. Yeah, and I think that the left has good intentions per se. I think the right does a better job at making you feel loved unconditionally, and the left sometimes can make it feel like you are loved conditionally. But at the same time, the right, it's all within, you just have to, you have to fit in the box or you're going to be abandoned, no matter what side of the aisle you are on. And because I've been a victim of both of that. I've literally been through it. I've been on both sides of the aisle, and I did not conform completely, and then I was ostracized. So I can't even say that. Cry about it. Sometimes I want to. Sometimes I definitely want to cry about it. Hi, India. Sometimes I do want to cry about it because I think it's a flaw of humanity. It's a lot more left in the South than people think. For sure. You're confusing courtesy versus kindness. I don't know what the difference is. If you struggle with boundaries, I can see how that perspective of the left would be. Yes, I struggle with boundaries. Very much so. I have zero boundaries. I have zero boundaries, actually. I know that. I don't even know what to do about that, but we'll figure it out eventually. I don't know. I've been told I have to figure that out for the past 7 years now, and I haven't been able to figure out boundaries. I can't. It's like it is against my brain. Whichever way my brain operates, it does not formulate. It can't establish boundaries. I don't know why, and it's never gonna. I don't think it can happen. I don't know how to establish boundaries. That's what people don't get. We're more alike than we are different. Oh, I agree. Hi, Mercedes. Can I come up and ask you a few questions? I'm curious about the future, etc. Maybe. We'll help you. Boundaries aren't selfish. Yeah. I hear boundaries aren't selfish, but I don't know how to not feel selfish by establishing boundaries. You guys will help me with that. Didn't you not vote? No, I voted. This is my voting history. I definitely voted. You don't really believe that I voted? Wait, you don't believe me that I voted? Well, that's okay. I don't think your belief in whether I voted or not affects my life. I have an entire sect of family that is as nice as they can be, but if you don't fit in, exactly. Nah, people shared your public records. They couldn't share my public records. These are my public records, but in the state of Texas, you can't just access people's public records. I have boundary issues too. It took a long time to stop talking to my abuse. Yeah. Yeah. You can't, fuck. And I believe it is my position on this earth to serve as many people as possible. So it's very hard when you believe that your whole existence surrounds your, like, my worth is tied into how many people I can serve. So what happens is, yeah, well, but I die happy that way. But I would actually be happy. Like, I don't care. You could put me in a position where I served a bunch of people to the best of my ability over and over and over and over and over again. And they decided for some reason they didn't like me and they, like, you know, beat me to a pulp or something, and I lost my life as a result of it, I would do it with a smile on my face. I don't know how to explain it, but I don't believe that this is my only life. I believe that I live my life here for sure, but as a result of what I do in my life here, the next whatever might come, right? Maybe we'll put this from an agnostic stand. Whatever comes after, I believe will be a reflection of the life I live here. So it doesn't matter whether it doesn't matter whether the people I served continue liking me or not. As long as I serve them, then I'm happy. You can see did or did not vote. Well, I did vote. It's very weird to me because there's a video of me walking into the tax assessor office and her handing me these papers that said that I voted. I think you're MAGA, or you maybe fit in over there or something, because if you deny actual facts, there's something, I think, going on upstairs or something. I don't know. For sure. I think that it would be easier for you to bring us together than most left or right-wingers. Thanks. Thank you. And I think that because my intentions are to be loving. It's weird to me to see MAGA pretend to be leftist. Well, I'm not a leftist. I don't identify as one because I'll get dragged if I do. Why are people so picky about this? You literally have receipts. Because people want to paint a narrative on you because they don't like you. They find a reason why they don't like you, and as a result, they have to not like you. Also, to acquiesce to the idea that these receipts are valid and real, it would be an insult. It would be insulting to their own intelligence. Honestly. Like, if they had to come to terms, and I think ego, too, the inability to be like, oh, maybe I was wrong, in face of actual facts and information, the inability to do that, I think, is due to ego, for sure. They can't admit that maybe they were wrong about something. I mean, just admit you didn't vote, and this whole ass shit is just weird. I think that you need to go seek educational therapy. That has to be a thing. We can... Most people here just want to fight and win instead of looking at other person's perspective. Yeah, and they'll deny facts as a result of it. And that's my biggest frustration. Why are you so worried about if she voted or not? You just said acquiesce, and you have the audacity to say you're not smart. Oh, that's because of my vocab cards. Hold up. I can't show y'all all the pictures because, well, I mean, where are my damn vocab cards? I know I have them somewhere. You guys will like them. Oh, here they are. Some of these photos are a little fucked, and that's because I definitely... After my father died, I was in a deep space. I was a teenager when he died, so you can imagine. And then I did a lot of substances. I separated that so I wouldn't get a violation. Vocab cards. Yeah. So, like, these are them. The pictures are a little bit sus, and I think it's because of religious undertones. For example, we have acquiesce here, and we do have, this is the story of Abraham and Isaac. I don't know what's going on here. This is, and then these people are going to hell. It's loquacious. They're speaking a lot on the bus to hell. Maybe they're excited to go to hell. I don't know what's going on here. This picture... We're not sure what happened here, but it is vindicate, right? This is onerous, and here's the picture. I don't know what's going on here. There's some... to speak on the fact that I've probably always been kind of independent, this was my depiction of the left and the right constantly breaking their word. They renege. So, yes. This picture... I want to preface this by saying both people are white, okay, in this picture. The other person just has a little bit of Krispies on them. It's exacerbate. So they're pouring gasoline on someone else, and it is exacerbating the situation. This is juxtaposition, which is like, yeah, I don't know. No, we're not going to show this one. Anyways, this is alacrity, which is funny because if you listen to the definition, it says brisk and cheerful readiness. Brisk and cheerful. Yeah, it's like cheerful. Right? And Santa's like, go do this. And they have little, knives, and they're like, yeah, let's go do it. This is going to offend the Taylor Swift people, so we're definitely not going to show this. This is a nun. For paragon, a person or a thing regarded as a perfect example of a particular quality, and I think a nun would demonstrate that. They want to be a paragon of purity. This is a deal. They're doing a deal for sure. It is laconic. I forget how to pronounce it, but it's the using or involving the use of minimum words, concise to the point, seeming rude or mysterious. Wait, show the Taylor Swift one? No, because the Taylor Swift one is attached to the word called hackneyed, lacking significance through having been overused, unoriginal, and trite. So I think the Swifties will get upset. And for some reason, she is no longer. Everyone's unalived. You know what I mean? Like everyone in these cards are pretty much gone. They just died. Everyone died. So I don't know what happened there. This right here is an instance that this is me. I don't know why this is how I view myself, but with this situation happens a lot within these cards. This was a situation. What had happened was I was with my twin, and I wasn't with my twin. I was with this person is now my twin's girlfriend, but at the time they were my friend, and it was me, and it was some girl I was with at the time, and someone named Carmen, who's now my twin's girlfriend, decided to pour I was drinking hot coffee, like really hot coffee. Well, it wasn't coffee, it was cocoa because I don't drink coffee, but I was drinking it, and they slapped my hand, and the hot coffee went all over me, and it was, as a result, I punched forward. I think that was just instinctually because I just got hot coffee poured on me, and I ended up hitting her in the chest, and then she had a seizure in Goodwill. So, but she was okay, and then we left, and it was very awkward. Anyways, this is faction. He was creating this faction of people that is Manson. So that happened. Anyways, this is a dad and a son for emulate. For sure. This is all going to get clipped. It's fine. This is nefarious. That was a wild ride. Yeah, it was. I mean, I didn't mean to do it. It was a response of getting hot fluids poured on your face. It was just like a response like that. And I just, they already, it was fine. It's fine. It's just fine. The drawing is getting better. Thanks. This is Donald Trump for colloquial. That's Donald Trump. So, for sure. Yeah, and those are some of these cards. Oh, this is me for existential. This is me. I drew this a long time ago. I guess I viewed myself as a guy. I don't know. Well, that's a different conversation. Anyways, that's my dad's funeral. Well, this is a depiction of it. It was inside, but I'd rather be in nature. And yeah, existential, I guess. That just happens. Oh my God. Some of these, it'd be like that. Anyways, for sure, those are my vocab cards. You were saying nefarious. Nefarious. Thanks, guys. It looks like an existential crisis if I've ever seen one. Yeah, I mean, sure, but it's life, and everyone dies, so. But I don't believe people actually die. I'm so spiritual, it's crazy. Like I believe we've had this conversation a million times. You know, if everything is infinite, and my understanding is apparently the universe like expands and contracts, and it expands and contracts, and over and over and over again, and for like an infinite, like an infinite. And do you get, like, how do you process that? If it happens forever, then who's to say that? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. I believe we keep living over and over. Yeah, I believe that. And everyone's going to be like, well, how do you believe in Jesus? And then that's a whole nother conversation. That is a whole conversation. We should do a spiritual live. I agree. Well, guys, I am probably going to... I have a surgery tomorrow, and I'm supposed to eat... Clipped for hypocrisy. Oh, thanks. I'm supposed to eat food and then stop eating food. So I'll probably go eat food so that I can stop eating. Don't know if that made sense. I do believe in Jesus, sorry. I believe in Jesus as well. I believe in Jesus, but I also believe in the possibility of continuing life. Does that make sense? I believe Jesus is God's son, but not God. I believe that Jesus, even if I were to depict him as like someone that I'm going to sound like fucking is it Gen Z? I don't know what the young generation people are making fun of now. I'm glitching. Oh, I'm so sorry. Maybe it's me stuttering. You might be confusing my stuttering with glitching. Anyways, it's a long story. I mean, I believe that, you know, Jesus could be many a things, but whatever he was, I do believe he was sent for a purpose to teach people how to live like him. But yeah, awesome, guys. I'll be getting off of here. Hey, Mercedes, hi. I'll be leaving now, so I'm going to click this button. I do this every single time. It's hard for me to even click the button because I feel like I'm disappointing people by clicking the button and leaving. I have this problem hanging up on the phone too. Oftentimes I will feel bad of saying bye, and then I'll just, and then I now I have an aversion to phone calls and texting. But I don't have an aversion to phone calls. I have an aversion to hanging up the phone, but I do have an aversion to texting. I don't know. That's something else I got to figure out. But BPD, is that bipolar disorder? Okay, everyone say bye and leave. You have a surgery to get ready for. It's okay. Thanks. What does black flag camouflage behind you mean? Oh, it's just an American flag. Borderline. Borderline. I'm probably borderline unstable. All right. Okay. Oh, wow. So sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. Woo. Bye. All right. Goodbye. No one's leaving. You guys gotta leave. Then I don't feel bad. Like, if you leave me first, then I didn't leave you. You know what I mean? I have to do it. Okay. Bye. Everyone leave.